It's official. We have the Golden State Warriors taking on the Houston Rockets in the first round of the Western Conference. I do want to start off with the Houston Rockets in this video because they are the second seed and they have the better record and they have home court advantage. All of the narratives in this matchup, you have the Houston Rockets with so many young players like Şengün, Jaylen Green, Ahmed Thompson. You have Jabari Smith and Tari Eason. And then you look at the Golden State Warriors. They had the veteranship with Draymond Green, Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, mixed in with some of their young players like Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and B-Pods. But when I look at the Houston Rockets, you have an advantage here against the Golden State Warriors because you're red hot right now. Even though your record against the Warriors was 2-3 in the regular season, you have the defenders to go out there and make life hard for Stephen Curry. The last time these two teams faced each other, the Houston Rockets won by 10 points. They defeated them 106-96. Anytime you see a team go out there and they make the Golden State Warriors score under 100 points, either Stephen Curry had a bad game or their defense was just that damn good. And when I look at the Houston Rockets, it was both. Stephen Curry had a bad day, but he had a bad day because of this defense and so many of the different looks that Ime Udoka was giving Stephen Curry. It was full court press basically the entire time. They did let up every now and then, but they gave Curry so many different players. They were just throwing them at him. And it started with Ahmed Thompson. He made life hard for Stephen Curry. And you know what the Golden State Warriors are going to do? Run those screens. And Stephen Curry has you running around so much. But you saw them run a different type of defense when Ahmed Thompson couldn't fight over certain screens. And that was very rare because he's one of the best defenders in the NBA on the perimeter. You had Jaylen Green switch over as a decoy. Fred VanVleet comes out of nowhere. Now he's guarding Stephen Curry one-on-one. He's a very good defender at the point guard position. Then you have Dylan Brooks. He's coming over, and they're double teaming Stephen Curry. He gets the ball out to Jimmy Butler. Next thing you know, he's going up against Steven Adams inside the paint, and he's going against Şengün because of the length that they have and the size that they have on the court. They made life hard for the Golden State Warriors. And I'm not saying that Stephen Curry is going to only average 3 points in the rest of the series because that's not going to happen. He's one of the best players we've ever seen. But if Ime Udoka can go out there and limit Stephen Curry in those runs that he loves to go on from the three ball, you're going to be okay. You want to keep the games as close as possible because of how bad your half-court offense has been if you are the Houston Rockets. But I love the game plan that Ime Udoka had against the Golden State Warriors. Just straight up blitz them, man-to-man, switch over, run the double big lineup with Şengün and Steven Adams. And the reason why I speak of those two players, you're going to beat them with length, athleticism, and the fact that you have pure size on the court. That's the way to defeat the Golden State Warriors because they still love to get bigs outside the paint. The problem is this with the Golden State Warriors. Şengün can guard shooting bigs. We've seen this against the Oklahoma City Thunder when he went against Chet. He's out there on the perimeter. And what happens to other teams, when you want to play a big off the court, you just want to shoot the guys off the court. That's not the case with the Houston Rockets. Not every team in the playoffs or even in the NBA in general are going to have two big men that can shoot the three consistently. So now look at Steven Adams. He can stand around the paint and still be a very good rim protector and be a very good rebounder. You're not going to get that much offensive production from Steven Adams, but he's going to be a very effective player with the Rockets in this matchup. And he has definitely been an effective player down the stretch. That's why you lead the league in rebounds as a team. But when I look at Şengün, one of the most underrated players in terms of getting to the rim, being crafty with the floater, with the mid-range shot. When I look at Draymond Green, he's a very good defender, especially in the post. But when I look at Şengün, it's so many things that he can do from inside the post. He can feed Jaylen Green. He can put the ball on the court. He can spin around, get to the rack, hit a fadeaway shot. That's how good he has been, and that's how good he's developed over the last few years with Ime Udoka. But the biggest star in this matchup with the Rockets, if they want to take the next leap forward, would have to be Jaylen Green. Jaylen Green has been a very good basketball player. And a lot of critics are saying this about the Houston Rockets. Where are their stars? Who's going to be the big star to emerge for the Houston Rockets? Like how Stephen Curry can emerge with the Golden State Warriors, how LeBron can with the Lakers, and the same with Luka with the Mavericks in the past, and Anthony Edwards with the Timberwolves. I look at Jaylen Green as a superstar, but he has to prove it in this game, and he has to prove it throughout this series. In game one, you make that impact. I'm not saying that he has to go out there and score 40 or 50 points in the first matchup. All he has to do is basically be Jaylen Green. It's that simple. Work off a pick and roll with Şengün. Work off the pick and pop with Steven Adams. Go out there and create your own shots. In the half-court setting, their offense has been average at times, but we've also seen their half-court offense be a major problem. And that could work against you with the Golden State Warriors because they have so many good perimeter defenders in Moses Moody, the same with Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler. But Jaylen Green just has to keep the game pace down to his level. Don't speed the game up. Just go out there. If you miss a shot, it's okay. You have two bigs that can rebound for you, and you have Şengün in the post who's going to have your back. Şengün averaged 20 points this season. 19.1 points if we want to be technical and we want to just go down to the numbers. But 10 rebounds a game and 5 assists, shooting 50% from the field. So you have him, who's going to be a very good player alongside Jaylen Green. But Jaylen Green has to go out there and he has to take over the reins in this matchup. And when you talk about the veteranship, Fred VanVleet, he's won a championship before with the Toronto Raptors against the Golden State Warriors. And if you are a Warriors fan, Kevin Durant did tear his Achilles in that matchup. Klay Thompson did tear his ACL. But we have to give Fred VanVleet a lot of credit. He has been a very good point guard in terms of being a two-way player. And when I look at Fred VanVleet, this is why you brought him in, to be that veteran point guard to help out this team and to slow things down when you need the game pace to be slowed down a little bit. He's the perfect point guard to have with Ime Udoka. And I look at him, watch out for those lob passes going up. Jaylen Green can throw lob passes, the same with Fred VanVleet. And there's going to be a lot of situations to where the offense may not look so good. And they have a lot of players on the perimeter, like a Jabari Smith if he's coming off the bench, and the same with Eason. But be on lookout with Ahmed Thompson, because Ahmed Thompson is more than just a very good defensive player. The backdoor cuts are insane. His athleticism can get the Houston Rockets over the top with how good he is in terms of getting to the rim. The three-point shot is still not there, but one day it will be. But his defense and his ability to just go to the rack and just put a lot of pressure on defenders is definitely going to help out everything with the Houston Rockets in this matchup. But the way to go out there and to defeat the Golden State Warriors, basically beat them up, be bullies in this matchup, and try to get Draymond Green into as much foul trouble as possible. We saw the Memphis Grizzlies do this a couple of days ago and try to get Draymond Green to crash out. The last time these two teams faced each other, you have Draymond Green getting silly fouls on Şengün, and Şengün just kept his composure. And the reason why he was getting so upset, they were playing physical. That's what the Rockets have to do. They're not a team that's going to go out there and shoot a bunch of threes. That's the only thing that's going to concern me with the Rockets in this matchup against the Warriors. They don't play like a modern NBA team. They play like a team from the late 80s, early 90s. They're physical with their defense. They're going to shoot the mid-range shot. They're going to get to the paint with their double bigs, and the same with Jaylen Green. But it comes down to, can Jaylen Green be consistent? Can he be that superstar? And if he can't be that superstar, it's going to be hard as hell for the Rockets to win this matchup. But they do have players coming off the bench like Eason, like Jabari Smith, and you have Şengün. If Jaylen Green can't take that major step in this series, that's okay, because he's still going to be a very good guard to build around. But when I look at Şengün, he'll have to be the guy to go out there and beat them. And if you don't have that star that just stands out, you beat them together. You beat them as a team, because at the end of the day, it's a team game. And to take a quote away from the Golden State Warriors, it could be scrint in numbers. Because when I look at the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr has basically made a lot of questionable decisions down the stretch. Now let's talk about the Golden State Warriors in this series. The Golden State Warriors, like I mentioned before, have a top defense on the perimeter. And we saw this for the first half of the regular season. For the first 30 games, they were red hot. Then in the middle of the season, they fell off a cliff. That's why they had to make a trade to bring in Jimmy Butler, who has been a major addition to the Warriors. He's a major upgrade over Andrew Wiggins because he could put a lot of pressure on the rim. And we know this about playoff Jimmy. He plays out of his mind. He got the Miami Heat to the NBA Finals not once, but twice in the last 5 years. And his number 2 to 3 options were Bam Adebayo, solid player, especially a great defender, and Tyler Hero. You put him alongside Stephen Curry and Draymond Green, fireworks should appear. But this is the one thing with the Golden State Warriors. The rest of the players have been very inconsistent. I look at Brandon Podziemski. He can be a very good three-point shooter at times. Then he will go cold. And we saw this against the Memphis Grizzlies. He had a bad game. He's a young player. So when you hear a lot of people in the media say, well, the Houston Rockets, their veteranship, can it help them out because they have so many young players? The Golden State Warriors have 3 very good veterans, and they have Kevon Looney. Don't get me wrong. But it's a lot of young players with this roster, like Moses Moody, and the same with B-Pods. And I don't trust B-Pods to go out there every single game in this series and have a great game. We've seen him in the past against the Los Angeles Lakers shoot lights out. We've seen him against OKC come up big time, but we've also seen him have some bad moments. And the reason why I'm focusing in on him, let's just say Stephen Curry is getting trapped a lot at half court. Who is he going to get the basketball to? Jimmy Butler. They're going to trap him also. B-Pods has to step up at that shooting guard position. He doesn't have to be Klay Thompson, but he has to be more consistent. And it's going to be hard as hell for him to get to the rim on a consistent basis because of the length and the athleticism that the Houston Rockets have. So his three-point shot has to be there. And the same with Moses Moody. Moses Moody has to step up. He's also a very inconsistent player. That's why the Golden State Warriors made that trade to bring in Jimmy Butler, because they needed another all-star that could come in and take some of the workload off of Stephen Curry. The problem is this: in the NBA playoffs, you have to go out there and you have to step up everyone in your lineup. And when I look at Jonathan Kuminga, they didn't even play him against the Memphis Grizzlies. And Jonathan Kuminga has been a very good player. He's the perfect player to have against the Houston Rockets in terms of rolling to the basket, backdoor cuts, shooting the three from the corner, working at the mid-range spot. I know that him and Jimmy Butler have a similar offensive game plan, but Jimmy Butler is so crafty with his playmaking ability, and his three-point percentage goes up in the NBA playoffs. Let Jonathan Kuminga go out there and let him cook. Put him in the starting lineup if you have to. Find a way to get Steven Adams off the court. Because if the three-point shot is not there, and let's just say the Golden State Warriors are not having a great shooting night, it's going to be hard as hell to go out there and try to out-rebound the Houston Rockets. And when a team is constantly getting rebounds over and over again, those are second-chance points. And when I look at Jaylen Green, as great as he is in terms of being a playmaker and a very good defender, it's only so much that he can do on the interior against two very good bigs. And I look at Kevon Looney. He's also going to be a very effective player in this matchup. Kevon Looney, pardon me. He's going to also be essential. But you can never count out the Golden State Warriors, because that screen game with Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler has been one of the best two-man games in the NBA since the All-Star break, since they made that trade and the trade deadline. It was a situation against the Memphis Grizzlies. You have Stephen Curry. He screens for Jimmy Butler. He rolls off to the corner. They lose sight of Stephen Curry. 2 seconds is all it took. He hits the three. The next possession, Jimmy Butler's bringing the ball up the court. Curry screens for him again. He gets the ball to Curry. Jimmy screens for Curry. He gets the ball out to Jimmy Butler, goes up and one. Now those are free throws. Those are 6 points within the last 2 possessions. That's what you want to do against the Houston Rockets, and then you can stretch out the court. But they have to play Jonathan Kuminga, and Jonathan Kuminga has to step up big time. I look at Gary Payton, very good defender on the perimeter. They have so many bodies on the perimeter, and that's the one thing that concerns me with the Houston Rockets here, is the fact that their half-court offense hasn't been the best. And when you look at the Golden State Warriors, they usually feast on teams like that. But the counter argument for the Rockets, if you're a Rockets fan, we can beat them with our rebounding. And as the Golden State Warriors, they can outshoot the Houston Rockets. So something has to give. That great defense of the Houston Rockets, and it's phenomenal. The Golden State Warriors on the perimeter, their defense is as good, if not even better, with how many times that Steve Kerr is able to go out there with certain game plan adjustments and all those different bodies that he can give you. So it's going to be a chess match here. You have Ime Udoka, who isn't flashy at all. Old school type of coach, going to be barking at you the entire time. And you have Steve Kerr, who basically came out and said, you know what, 5 out. We're going to shoot our way in this game, and we're going to shoot them out of this game. And if we have to play very good defense, we're going to do so. We're going to kill you on both ends of the court. For the Golden State Warriors here, try to outpace the Houston Rockets and make Jaylen Green have to take tough contested shots over and over again. And one thing that's very interesting with the Warriors, even though they are undersized, they do a very good job of fighting over screens and finding ways to just rotate over. And once again, Steve Kerr, the rotating matchups that the Golden State Warriors had against the Memphis Grizzlies when they had Zach Edey in the game, and the same with Jaren Jackson, they were outmatched in that matchup also. But you saw they were running 2 screens at a time. Jimmy Butler, I got your back, Draymond. Draymond, I have your back. So they're just going out there and they're just switching on each other, and they're just switching players. And Jimmy Butler is still a very good defender, and the same with Jaylen Green. Jaylen Green may win Defensive Player of the Year. That's how special he's been this season. So this is going to be a very fun matchup. It's going to be ugly. But I do have the Houston Rockets winning this series in 7 games. I think that's going to come down to a few things here. For one, Jaylen Green, I just feel like he's going to go out there and have a big time series. If he doesn't, that's fine. It may be Şengün. I'm not counting out the Golden State Warriors because I can easily see Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler going out there and completely dominating. The only problem that I have with that theory and basically with that logic is this. The bench unit of the Golden State Warriors is not as good as the bench unit with the Houston Rockets. Now, I'm not talking about Reed Shepherd and Cam Whitmore because I doubt that they'll play big time minutes in this series with Ime Udoka. You saw them play sporadically during the regular season. They basically phased out Reed Shepherd and Cam, but they have so many good players that can come off the bench and give you good production on both ends of the court. I just don't have the same faith in the Golden State Warriors anymore. It's going to take a lot out of their big three to really go out there and try to outshine the Houston Rockets, even though they are a younger team. And I do understand when you go against a veteran team, they could take a lot out of you. We saw the Golden State Warriors do this in the past against younger teams. When they had Klay Thompson still with Stephen Curry and Draymond Green, that veteranship took over. But once again, you have Ime Udoka, who's been to the finals. Fred VanVleet has been to the finals, won a championship with the Raptors. Dylan Brooks, you know that he hates the Golden State Warriors and he has a lot of animosity towards his organization and towards Draymond Green. It's just one of those rivalries that we look at. It's going to be a fun series, but let me know in the comment section below, who do you have winning in round one? The Golden State Warriors or the Houston Rockets? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless.